Greetings, brothers. Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.
Hello, good evening, welcome to the weekly Army List show. Sorry we are starting a little bit late. It took me forever to try and get my kids to bed tonight. So, good evening, nice to see you guys. Hello Mike, hello Ben, hello Greg. Nomak, the stream is now live. I asked you a question from like 10 minutes ago. I did try and log in my phone and send a message saying that I was delayed 10 minutes, but I swear to you, I pressed the send button on my phone. It looked like it had gone through, but I guess it didn't come through. Hello, Julian Paints Minis. Hello, Boris. Hello, Quaydog. Always there at the very start, reporting for duty. And Nick Goldsmith. Has anyone considered running 3 Blade Guard and a Chaplain as a pretty cheap unit that can dish out quite a bit of damage in Rage Cursed Onslaught and remove Battle Shock and give OC to Dreads? I mean, it's cool. Blade Guard get a lot of attacks in Rage Cursed, and they get better chance to wound. I mean, Strength 5 isn't great, but +1 to wound helps. Potentially Strength 6 +1 to wound. So I guess you go into Toughness 10 things, you can get your wound rolls back to 4s. It's not too bad. The thing about running a Chaplain in Blade Guard is usually people want to put them in Impulsors. So I guess if you can avoid the Impulsor... I mean, Impulsors are somewhat decent as well. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fine choice. I think there was a tournament winning list a few weeks ago that was just like... it was doing 6 Blade Guard with the Lieutenant and the Ancient for crap loads lethal hits. So I think there is ways to make Blade Guard work in Rage Cursed. I really like that lethal hits idea just because it's so many attacks. But I mean, the Chaplain is fine as well. Yeah, you can't attach a Chaplain if you attach the Ancient. So if you're new here, welcome. This is their weekly Army List show. We go over community submitted lists. We pick about 5 to 7 every week from the community. We get them on the show. If you're a channel member, you get priority in the queue, or if you support on Patreon, you get priority in the queue. But it's pretty simple. Everybody, I try to get to everybody. If you're not a channel member, you're just further down the queue. But we do, like, I think tonight we're doing 2 or 3 people that aren't channel members. So we get to everybody. All you need to do is at the end of this stream, copy your list. Out into like text format, so you can do that in like the Games Workshop app by clicking the little share export list, and then just paste it into the comments for this video. It doesn't even need to necessarily be this video. You could almost paste it into any one of my videos at any point in time, and on the back end of YouTube it puts all the comments together and I can just pick and we'll get you on the show. So it's as simple as that. Drummer Freak says, hello all, can't remember which is better with Dante and Rage Curse, swords or spears. I think spears are better because you need the +1 to wound. I think spears are better in all situations for Rage Cursed. I do not think I would ever take swords because you can get the spears up to AP3 if you need them to be AP3, which I think is probably about the most you're ever going to need. There's rarely a time in a game where you're like, I wish I had AP4, right? And that's the only advantages that the blades would have. Okay, Marius, good evening. Agent 97, good evening. Let's get into the first list of tonight. It is submitted by Slater, and it's called To Bed Angels. I'm not sure if this is an inside joke that I'm missing. You guys usually have inside jokes that I miss. Anyway, we're starting with a Jump Captain with the Fight First enhancement. We also have a Chaplain with the 6-inch pregame move enhancement. We have Lamartas, and then we have the Combi Weapon Lieutenant. So this is pretty standard Rage Curse stuff. Oh, sorry, it was Chaplain. So it's 3 Chaplains. Okay. We have a squad of Intercessors for sticky objectives. We have a single Bile Predator, which I think is probably pretty useful in this detachment. We then go 25 Death Company, so I imagine 10 of them have the pregame move, 10 of them are with Lamartas, 5 of them have Fight First. Some situation, there could be a variance on that, but that's probably likely what's happening. We have a squad of Outriders, we then have 3 squads of 3 Sanguinary Guard, and then we have the 2 Vindicator tanks. Do you know what, this is really interesting actually, because I played 2 Vindicator tanks with Rage Cursed Onslaught to a recent tournament, and I don't think this is the right detachment for 2 Vindicator tanks. I think if you go second, it's absolutely fine. Like, I think your win rate going second with this detachment with Vindicator tanks is actually going to be really, really good. Because the biggest problem with Vindicator tanks is they only shoot 24 inches, right? But they do move 9. So arguably, if you deploy them well and you can push them 9 inches forward, bear in mind, remember there is a stratagem where you can advance and shoot if you need to. So the way I sort of look at it with the Vindicator tanks is they're great if you go second. They're really, really good if you go second. Because the opponent's going to have to push out. There's going to be targets for those Vindicator tanks. If both of them can see the same target, it's probably dead if you just pop the Hunter-Killer missiles and you just shoot everything at it. So they're really, really strong if you go second. If you go first, I think they're really, really difficult to play. Because you don't know what to do with them. Like, you're just going to hide them for an entire turn and get no value out of them. I think that's actually the right choice. But I think in the heat of the moment in a tournament, that's super difficult to do, right? Like, in every tournament, I felt like I need to get my Vindicator tanks forward. They need to be doing something. They need to be killing some nasty enemies. And inevitably, in every game I went first, I had a 50% win rate. In every game I went second, I had a 100% win rate. So, and I really think a big part of that comes down to just the effectiveness. If Vindicators are in range, they're hell of effective. But their range is the limiting factor. I think that's why Vindicators were maybe so good in that Gladius Task Force. Remember Gladius Task Force? Everybody with the Devastator Doctrine could advance and shoot. So you could just throw Devastator Doctrine in turn 1, Vindicators advancing, shooting. It worked really well. So I'm personally kind of off this. I don't think I would run it again. But, I mean, it can be really good. Have you ever considered just sacking off the first turn and not doing much? Yeah, I just think that in like a lot of games the game, I feel like 5 turns is pretty short. It's rough to just give up a whole turn and do nothing. And then let's assume that you did that, Mike. You decided in turn 1 you're just not going to expose your Vindicator tanks. You're not going to push them forward. You're just going to hide. What if your opponent does that again in the second turn? And that's I think that was my big worry, right? Like if my opponent just goes, I just hide from your tanks for one more turn. Now you're in turn 3 and your Vindicator tanks still haven't left your deployment zone. They haven't done anything, and it's like, that's, I don't know. I feel like that's just, it's too big a risk for me. But they're amazing if you go second. The Sanguinary Guard are a really good unit. You've got spears. You do not have enough spears on them, so fail on. I don't think you should ever run blades in this detachment. Especially these are unled Sanguinary Guard. They're going to be making charges. They're going to want +1 to wound. The extra AP for the blades is somewhat irrelevant. If you need the extra AP, you can still possibly get it from the limb for limb stratagem. Outriders are fine. They're pretty cool in this detachment. They're a good scoring piece. The Brawl Predator is a good scoring piece. The 25 Death Company is really strong. Intercessor is obviously pretty good, so is the Combat Weapon Lieutenant, Lamartez, both Chaplains. I mean, I think the region of like 20 to 25 Death Company and 9 Sanguinary Guard is probably the right number of melee units in this detachment, and then it's just how you fill that out. You know, some people have been taking Death Company Dreadnought, some people obviously still take Vindicator tanks. I haven't actually really seen anyone take like Gladiator Lancers, but I think you could probably do that. You could probably even take like Repulsor Executioners and have like small units of Blade Guard. So I think overall this is a fine list. I think it sort of is decent. I think it's a 3-2 list, I think. I think you'll struggle to go 4-1 in a tournament with this unless you get lucky and go second a bunch of times. And sometimes in a tournament you do get to go second. In the tournament I was just at, I think it was like weird shit happens. Like I think I got engage on all fronts on turn 1 in every single battle, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like engage on all fronts is not something I'm typically trying to do on turn 1. Is it all about Rage Cursed Onslaught just now? I mean, sometimes on these Sunday night streams we check out Stat Check. It's a website and a YouTube channel. You should always try and plug them because they do have a channel. I guess they stream every Tuesday at 6 p.m. I don't stream on a Tuesday, so if you're looking for Warhammer content on a Tuesday night, you could check out StatCheck. But StatCheck, stat.check.com, if you click this button up the top, 10th edition meta dashboard, you can then see the win rates, the competitive win rates for every faction, and you can click this little plus next to Blood Angels, and you'll see the win rates for the detachments. So Rage Cursed Onslaught has a 55% win rate, Orbital Assault Force has 40%, Liberator Assault Group has 40%, and Angelic Inheritors has 31%. So in terms of raw win rates, and actual, this column over here is event wins. So like there was one event win using Rage Cursed Onslaught, there was none using any of the other detachments, and 4-0 event starts. That means like the first 4 games of your tournament, you won, you went 4 wins, 0 losses. 8% of players doing Rage Cursed Onslaught are managing 4-0. So I think in terms of raw win rate, it's just massively outperforming the other 2 detachments right now. And like one player played Orbital Assault Force. So, I mean, I guess you can't really say anything about Orbital Assault Force. Chief Librarian says, I'm in the middle of building my first Gladiator tank using magnets and all the variants out of the kit. Mostly I'm concerned about picking up Vindicators before they may go to Legends. Yeah, I would use magnets if you're building Gladiators. I don't recommend buying Firstborn tanks until we see the new edition. Morning Hadley. You know that if you're magnetizing a Gladiator tank, you can actually magnetize the whole top section that has the turret in it, and then that gives you an impulsor as well. So it's like 4 tanks for the price of 1. I hope, this edition there's really only been one competitive Gladiator, and that's the Lancer. I hope they fix the other 2 variants next edition. Yeah, so this list is Rage Cursed Onslaught. It's decent enough. I just don't know if I would play Rage Cursed again with Vindicator tanks. I think you need to... If you love double Vindicator tank, keep playing them. I just think they're hard to get to work, potentially, in Rage Cursed Onslaught. Alright, next list, and this is also Rage Cursed Onslaught. I do think we have some non-Rage Cursed ones coming up tonight. Whoever asked, Vintage Flanker, is it all about Rage Cursed? I do think we've got some non-ones coming up. We'll see. So we have, again, a Fight First Captain, again, 2 Jump Chaplains, and Lamartas, and then Mephiston. So, Intercessors, yes. Ball Predator, yes. This list is very similar to the last one. Rather than 25 Death Company now, we have 20. A squad of Incursors giving something +1 to hit. A squad of Outriders, the same 3 squads of Sanguinary Guard, and then the same Devil Vindicator. Okay, so this list is super similar to the last one. It's got 5 less Death Company. It's got an Incursor squad. It's got a Scout squad. Yeah, so the 5 less Death Company gives the points for the Incursors and the Scouts. And then I think here's 1 less enhancement. That was it. Yeah, I mean, in raw sense of like the core of Rage Cursed, the core of Rage Cursed is 20 Death Company with Chaplains and like 9 Sanguinary Guard, and you can attach some of them. Oh, this one has one less squad of Sanguinary Guard. And it's like 9 Sanguinary Guard. You can attach one of them to a character. You don't have to. Again, I think this is a solid 3 for 2 tournament list, right? Like, if you're going second, this list beats a lot of people. They have to push out. You blow up key targets with the Vindicators. You charge them all over the board with Death Company. You have Lamartas' unit coming in from reserve. You have small skirmishing units of Sanguinary Guard and Outriders. You've got Scouts to do some scoring and screening. You've got the sticky objectives. You've got a Ball Predator you can do stuff with. Like, this is a solid, it's fine. I think it gets 3 for 2. I just think it's much harder to play going first. Vintage says 40% for lag is hard. Is there a way that the stats is flawed? Because best Blood Angels players right now all play Rage Cursed Onslaught. Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, if the best players are all playing one detachment, then the win rate on the other detachment will be bad. Because you're getting all your standard Joes or all your standard new players coming to that. I would assume that realistically, Liberator Assault Group, I think for this entire last year has been like 47, 48%. So I assume it would still be the same. It's just not getting pulled up the same as it was before because all the good players have moved away from it, or a lot of good players have moved away from it. So what do we take for anti-tank? Kind of feel naked with 2 Death Company Dreadnoughts. Yeah, I struggled this week with the double Death Company Dreadnought list. I've only played it twice, so I feel like I need to play it two or three more times. I think possibly we might need to fall back on something like Lancers or Ballistas Dreadnoughts, right? Like, I always go back to the GT that I won, and people always make fun of me when I talk about the GT that I won. But in the GT that I won, I had a Ballistas Dreadnought, and it was like 48 inches away, or like 46. It was like basically at maximum range. And I hit like a orc truck, which is toughness 12, 16 wounds, God knows, not a truck, a battle wagon. And let me just remind myself of the battle wagon stats, because it's ridiculous. Battle wagon. Is that what it is? Yeah, so it's toughness 10, 16 wounds, 3 up save, 6 up invulnerable. I think it's also got ignores 1 AP. So ignores 1 AP and it was in cover. So he's ignoring 2 AP on a toughness 10, 16 wound model. And I blew that up with a Ballistas Dreadnought 40 odd inches away from it, right? Like, it was just like both las cannons went through. I rolled a double 6, so that's instantly 14 damage. One of the crack missiles went through. I rolled the 2 up. It's instantly dead, 48 inches away. So it's like, have people just forgotten that Ballistas Dreadnoughts exist? They're still pretty cheap. They still get baked in rerolls. Arguably, one thing that's pretty, like, a lot of people talk about this, right? Rage Cursed Onslaught does not need Oath of Moment, because Death Company are going to reroll all their hits, and Sanguinary Guard are going to hit on you on 2s, right? And then any characters that attach are either going to reroll hits or hit on 2s. So I think the thing to think about that is then you could just take any tank, like a Predator with las cannons on it, a regular Predator Destructor, any other vehicle, even Lancers, right? Lancers get to reroll 1 hit, I think. But you could give your Lancer Oath of Moment. You don't need Oath of Moment on Death Company. You don't need Oath of Moment on Sanguinary Guard. So any fire support you bring can use the Oath of Moment, right? Like, the Oath of Moment is not important for your melee units. So, yes, Ballistas Dreadnoughts only get to reroll, I believe it's some weird wording. It's like, you reroll if they're not below half strength, right? That's their ability. Each time a model makes a ranged attack that targets a unit that is not below half strength. That's like a double negative. They could have just said above half strength, right? Anyway, not below half strength, you can reroll the hit. But then you can just give the Oath of Moment target for the Ballistas Dreadnought, right? Because it's like, well, I don't need it on my melee unit, so why not just give it to the Ballistas Dreadnought and just make that Ballistas Dreadnought's las cannons and stuff better? So, like, I think, you know, like, a lot of people are taking, like, 2 Vindicator tanks, which is fine, but I've pointed out that they have big weaknesses and that you can't get turn 1. Turn 1, if you go first, you're not going to be able to shoot anything. It's going to be difficult. So 2 Ballistas Dreadnoughts might not be enough, but 2 Ballistas Dreadnoughts is 70 points cheaper than these things. So you're, you know, like, if you drop the 2 Ballistas Dreadnoughts and 1 other unit like these Outriders, then all of a sudden you could have 3 Ballistas Dreadnoughts. And they can all shoot the same target because they all have really long range and you've got Oath of Moment. I'm puzzled by your sudden hatred for Vindicators. I've played Vindicators to 2 GTs, man, right? I've played them in a Rage Cursed Onslaught list, and I've played the Vindicators in an Angelic Inheritors list. In both those GTs, I went 3 and 2. The GT that I won, I was using Predators and I was using Ballistas Dreadnoughts. And at 48 inches, those things can still do a lot of damage, right? Case in point, I blew up a battle wagon 48 inches away. It was basically in his deployment zone. I don't think he'd even moved out the deployment zone. He just blew up his battle wagon like turn 1 because he's thinking, oh, it's toughness 16 wounds, toughness 10. It's pretty safe. It's ignoring 2 AP, right? So I guess there's questions, right? Like, I don't I was kind of off Vindicator tanks before when I was playing them in Angelic Inheritors, because Vindicator tanks are swingy, right? They do swing from 4 shots to whatever, 10 shots. If they swing all the way up, they're great. Yeah, I thought it was toughness 12 in the Battle Wagon. I don't know if that website was wrong. I'm sure when I fought against the Battle Wagon, it was T12. But regardless, you know, if the Orc player got the numbers wrong, I don't think he would, because I think it was literally the final, the GT, right? But yeah, so I think, like I said, I think if you go second, Vindicator tanks are probably the best thing you can pick. But if you go first, you're really struggling with what you do with them, right? Like, especially, like, I played a game against Ultramarines. He's got 2 Lancers. So his Lancers are just able to sit out of range of my Vindicator tanks and pick me off. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't even return fire. And, I mean, Vindicator tanks are good T11 2-up save, but it's not like they're unkillable. You play against Necrons and they've got those damn Doomsday Arcs with the flat 4 damage, and I think they're AP4, the Doomsday Arcs. So, who needs shooting when you have fists? Yeah, I mean, you could argue that you don't need shooting, but if you think that you need shooting, I don't think that it has to be Vindicator tanks. I mean, I'm off Vindicator tanks. I don't think I'm going to run them in another tournament this edition. I think if I was going to run some tanks, I'd probably run Predators or Ballistas. Just because I feel like I can already have a lot of damage in Rage Cursed Onslaught. Do I need the Vindicator tanks to do a lot of damage? No. Would it be better if they could just return fire against really long-range enemy anti-tank, like Doomsday Arcs, or Riptides, or, what did I say, Gladiator Lancers? Like, if I can just pick those things off, would I feel better? Yeah, I think so. The game against Gene Stealer Cults this week was a good example, because they've got all these really weak trucks. I don't even know what those Gene Stealer Cult trucks are called, but like, oh, they're just, I'll find out. They're just so annoying. And like, I can't lock them down. I can't shoot at them because I've got nothing that's got long range. Let me think. Let me pull up the list from Wednesday night. What are those trucks actually called? It's these, is it? No, the Achilles Ridge Runners. What a nightmare I had with these things. So they just have these mining lasers. 36 inches, D3 shot, 12 minus 3 decent. So they're basically a D3 shot las cannon, but they hit on 4s. But he's got buffs, so they hit on 2s quite often. And then there's something else. Yeah, he's got an ability. Yeah, so if the range weapons are the bearer's range weapons, so they hit on 3s. He's got another buff where they can get ignore cover, and then he's got another buff where they can get +1 AP. So all of a sudden you're getting hit with like D3 plus blast. So if he shoots any of your death company, that's a minimum of 4 shots. Hitting on 2s, 12 minus 3, D6 +1. They're AP4, they're ignore cover, right? Like, it's just, and like, I have nothing that can return fire against that. So, and he's got 4, was it 4 of these? 5 of these, right? So I'm just going to take fire from, if he averages a roll of 2 and he shoots a 10-man squad, I'm just going to take fire from like 15 las cannon equivalents at AP4 no cover, and I can't even return fire against them, right? Like, and they're not hard to kill, right? They're only toughness 7, 8 wounds. So you could argue that, like, you don't need a Vindicator tank to kill. A Ballistas Dreadnought can 100% take these things out. I mean, realistically, a Ballistas Dreadnought with a hot streak could take out the squad of 2. And if you've got 2 Ballistas Dreadnoughts, I mean, you're going to get rerolls as well to hit. You're wounding on 3s with the las cannons. You're wounding on 3s with the crack missiles. The las cannons are going to save on 6s, maybe 5s if they've got cover. The crack missiles will save on 5s, maybe 4s if you've got cover, right? Like, yeah, Yeah, Vindicator attacks are good. If they're in range, they're the best thing we've got. It's the range that's the problem. But then there's also the swing as well, right? Oh, it's the Ard case upgrade. Yes, 100% Calgar. He had the Ard case upgrade that was making the Battle Wagon toughness 12. Lucas said, I finally got to a live show. Love the channel, John. Won my very first incursion match against a very experienced Sororitas player yesterday. Gladiator Reaper and Ball Predator for the win. I'm glad you find value in the Gladiator Reaper. You must be the only person who's running it. 68 people are watching live. We have 25 likes. So if we could get a few more likes, I would appreciate that. Talking of Doomsday Arc, I popped a full health one with Dante's party pistol the other day. It was glorious. What do you mean Dante's party pistol? He can't one-shot a Doomsday Arc, can he? Isn't it like 12 wounds? Oh, is Dante's pistol sustained? I haven't played Dante in a while. I mean, I guess that one time you get the sustained roll. Wow. I don't think I've ever had that sustained roll on Dante's pistol kill anything. Like, you know, the one time you get sustained, they just save all the armor saves. But good for you. Congrats. That must have been glorious, because, yeah, I've never seen that. I mean, I played Dante for like 100 games this edition. I swear to you, I've had a sustained be meaningful once. Right? I feel like if they've got a weapon that's sustained, they should really give you more than one shot. It's like Mephiston's psychic power. I know it's sustained 3, but like you play him for an entire tournament and like you roll 1/6 or something, right? It's just not enough attacks to make the sustained all that exciting. Alright, Kevin Sim is up next. I hope you see this one before today's show. I know it was kind of late. Oh yeah, you posted this last Sunday night, Kevin. That's what it was. So here we are. We're looking at a jump captain. What detachment are you? You didn't write the detachment? You heathen. How am I supposed to review it if you didn't write the detachment? Oh, well, I can tell because you've got the Angelic Inheritors enhancements. Okay, I'll let you off. You were about to be in big trouble, bro. Alright. A Thunderhammer Captain with the no Overwatch enhancement. Another Thunderhammer Captain. Another Thunderhammer Captain. A Lieutenant with a Power Fist. And our Combi Weapon Lieutenant with a Come Back to Life on a 2-up move. Enhancement, excuse me. We have a squad of Intercessors for Sticky. We have double Ball Predator. We have a squad of Hellblasters and an Impulsor. Okay, so you probably got the Lieutenant, the Hellblasters, the Impulsor together. I would honestly think that you might be better with the Apothecary with the Lieutenant. Sorry, with the Apothecary with the Hellblasters. Just because that lets you bring one of the guys back to life every time they explode themselves, and they do explode themselves pretty often. You have 6 Inceptors, which I think is really important in Angelic Inheritors. You have 12 Sanguinary Guard. You have a unit of Scouts. You have the Hammer Strike and a Thunder Strike. I know the Thunder Strike gives you +1 to wound. I think the Hammer Strike lets you ignore cover. God, it's all the awkward things today that nobody ever plays, isn't it? Hammer Strike. Hammer Strike is ignore cover. Yeah, so you can ignore cover, you can get +1 to wound. Alright, so you're going to use your Plasma Inceptors or your Hellblasters, ignore cover, +1 to wound, and then you've got a couple of Ball Predators. I guess they already ignore cover, but +1 to wound could actually be kind of useful for Ball Predators. You could make the Flamers just that much better. Remember, the +1 to wound is only good for monsters and vehicles. Okay, so this list is a somewhat reaction to Catan being rather popular. The Flamestorm Cannons and the Ball will actually wound the Catan on a 4-up if the Thunder Strike hits them. So you're going to hit the Catans with a Thunder Strike. You're going to try and maybe like use your sustained stratagem on the Inceptors. You're going to get sustained hits there. You're going to reroll to wound. You've got +1 to wound. You've got ignore cover. I don't think Catans give a shit about cover. You've got 12 Sanguinary Guard, you've got unit Scouts for scoring, you've got some Hellblasters, you've got some Ball Predators. I mean, Angelic Inheritors I feel like is a bit more of a shooting detachment. Oh, hey Kevin, good timing. And I guess your shooting here is in the region, it's pretty high actually. I mean, like 250 points plus 360, 600, yeah, so you're probably close to 850, 900 points worth of shooting. Do you have enough high damage shooting, is the question. So you got the couple of missiles off the Thunderstrike, you've got the 3-shot Melta, you've got the Hammer Strike, you got 3 squads of Sangre Guard, all of which have captains. You've got the Lieutenant with the Hellblasters to give lethals. You've got the Intercessors with stickies. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a decent enough Angelic Inheritors list. I guess the real question is... Is it enough shoot? Like, if Catan are super popular and everybody knows Catan is super popular, I feel like you sure do have a lot of weapons in this list that are 2 damage, right? You've got like the Hellblasters that are 2 damage. You've got all the Ball Predators maximum kind of 2 damage. So those things get nerfed really hard into Catan. Yes, you've got a couple of missiles here, but I think one's going to wound on 5s into Catan. One will wound on 3s. You've got the Melta Destroyer. I have no idea the strength of the Melta Destroyer. I assume it's strength 9. Yeah, so again, you'll be wound on Catans on 5s. I guess you can get +1 to wounds. You can wound on 4s. Sangre Guard in this detachment are fine. You play the Lance and lethal hit stratagem on them. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm a bit clueless with Angelic Inheritors right now. My list was similar. Like, I was 2 Vindicator tanks. I think I had Scouts. I think I had the same 12 Sangre Guard. I think I had the same Inceptors. I had the Hellblasters. Rather than the Ball Predators, I had Vindicator tanks. So I think it's probably somewhat close. I think I also ran some Blade Guard, but I really don't like Blade Guard in Angelic Inheritors just because I thought like Strength 5 wasn't good enough. Any thoughts about Astrath? That's the video I'm going to be making this week, Vintage Flanker. I'm going to do Lamartas and Astrath versus a Catan. And I'm going to math it out. I'm going to use the tool that I've been working on to math that out. So that video will be coming out on Friday. I've already, like, sometimes when I'm preparing, or sometimes when I'm like, I have a few nights every week I work on the YouTube channel, right? So I already made this thumbnail. So this is the thumbnail for Friday's video. I like literally haven't done anything but make the thumbnail. I usually now for all my YouTube videos I make the thumbnail first, because I feel like if I make the thumbnail first, then it gives the video a bit more direction. I used to do the whole video and then they make the thumbnail at the end, but I think a lot of like YouTube advice says make your thumbnail first. So here's the thumbnail. I mean, I maybe went like file new presentation and pasted in the thumbnail, but that's as far as I've got, right? So that's what I'm working on this week. That's what's coming out on Friday. Yeah, I think this is okay. I mean, like I said, I haven't played enough. I feel like I haven't played enough Angelic Inheritors. I haven't played it since the Grotmist detachment came out on December 9th. So I guess I haven't touched Angelic Inheritors in 2 months. Hey, thank you for subscribing, Rubes the man. I was and before that I was actually getting a bit sick of Angelic Inheritors. Could be playing it for like a year. But I think your choices are pretty solid. I do worry about killing a Catan with this. You're gonna have to get pretty lucky, and you're gonna have to overcharge the Inceptors. And my experience with overcharging Inceptors is that I always end up killing a couple of my own models. So I'm trying to think, like, I mean, we could probably just do some crude maths where it's like, right, we get 12 attacks with the Inceptors, we give them Oath of Moment, so we hit 88% of the time. We've hit them with that other unit, it's +1 to wound, so we wound on 4s, but we're twin linked, so we wound 75% of the time. So the Catan needs to take 8 saves, which of course they'll pass half of them because they've got a 4-up invuln save. So they pass half of them, so basically the Catan fail 4 saves. The Inceptors are 3 damage, but it's down to 2, so it does 8 damage to the Catan. But then the Catan has a 5-up feel no pain, so we need to take that off. So your whole squad of Inceptors is only going to do 5.2 damage to the Catan, and then there's a good chance, like you're gonna need to roll 6 hazardous, right? And there's 6 guys, so statistically 1 will die. So your best bet is going to do 5.28 damage. And then here's the fucked up thing: if that Necron player's sitting on a command point, he just goes, well, I just reroll one of those failed saves, and it's a 4-up fail, and he passes it. All of a sudden, your entire 300. It's not quite 300 points for Inceptors, but your 240 point squad of Inceptors has done like 3 damage to Catan. So Catan's barely even wounded. It's just going to regen 3 wounds in his turn. So I worry about that for this list, Kevin. I don't know if we have great options for dealing with Catan, but that's definitely somewhat of a worry, I would say. Okay. God damn it, I seem to have copied this list, but not the entire list. Great. Oh, that's annoying. I wonder if I can search it. I just need a minute to find out whose list this was. Can I... I don't know if I can, maybe. Yeah, I'll just need a sec. Jojo says, I ran into a triple Catan list on Pathy of Woe. Astaroth was pretty useful because of precision, but I still lost and managed to kill Technomancers and Wraiths. I mean, I guess this precision could be pretty useful, but actually dropping the Catan is the real challenge, isn't it? I think this was a 1,000 point list. It looks like a smaller list, so I just need to quickly search my recent comments and see if I can find this 1,000 point list. Of course, the YouTube backend, the search functionality on it sucks. That's really annoying. Okay, so I'm gonna probably have to skip over this list because I don't know who submitted it. Mind you, I would have replied to it and said on tonight's show. So, do you know what? I'm going to review this list even though I don't know whose it was, because I would have replied to the comment. So the person who was expecting this list will, when I put you on the show, I always reply to your comment and say like on tonight's show. So the person, I don't know who submitted this list, but the person would have got a reply saying that this list was on tonight's show. So let's have a quick look at it, right? It's a 1,000 point list. It's a Fight First Chaplain with the jump pack and the pre-game move Chaplain with the jump pack. A Ball Predator, 2 5-man death companies, a Lancer, 3 Sangre Guard, and a squad of Scouts for 1,000 points. Yeah, okay, you know, like, I think this is solid. Right, this is not a million miles away from what I talked about in last week's video, where I talked about a 1,000 point army. You got the 2 chaplains, both leading Death Company. One can put pressure on, one can fight first, which gives them heroic intervention options. You've got the Ball Predator to move forward and shut down infantry movement. You've got a Lancer to deal with any anti-tank. You got the Sangre Guard that can go on a flank, and you got unit scouts to either hold the backfield or jump around and do secondaries. So yeah, I mean, for 1,000 points, I think this is sort of a solid starting point. If anyone's trying to start 1,000 points in Rage Cursed, you could do this, or you could do the list that I had on last week's video. In my experience playing with Catan, I have never worried about being killed in 1 or 2 activations unless it's a Knight Lancer or any Imperial Knight Fist. The only unit that scares me as a Necron player is 10 Death Company. Yeah, so I played that on the channel, Das Monkey, like 2 weeks ago, I think it was. And I had the 10 Death Company with Lamartez and 3 Sangre Guard and a Blood Angels Death Company Captain. They all charged the Catan. And they killed them, like, it was the precise amount of damage. So that was like, that would have been 15 models. And I think I must have used stratagems on them as well. So it took 15 Blood Angels models to kill the Catan in 1 turn. And then the same 15, or what was left, which was like, maybe like, because the Catan did fight back. because I activated one unit and then he interrupted, right? So I used 15, and then the same, whatever was left, like 12 or 13 of them, maybe it was slightly less, maybe it was like 11, but whatever was left went into a second Catan, the Nightbringer, and they didn't kill him. They left him on like 2 wounds or something. So it takes an awful lot right now to drop those Catan. I can 100% agree. I think your 10 Death Company, even with the character buffs, are probably still going to leave it on like a small amount of wounds, so they need fire support. Oh, I think the first Catan dropped as well. I threw a grenade at him. I think so. I got like 2 or 3 mortals from the grenade. And I think that was the difference between not killing it. So it was 15 guys plus a grenade to kill a Catan in one activation. It was rough. It seemed like you had to commit so much to kill them. All right, Truth is our next list. He says, love the content, Blood Angels Commander. Keep up the great work. He is running also Rage Cursed Onslaught. I really thought that there was somebody tonight that wasn't Rage Cursed, but I guess we'll see. We've got the Fight First Captain again. We have the 6-inch pre-game move Chaplain again. We have another Chaplain. We have Dante, Lamartez, the Sanguinar. That is a lot of characters. I don't know if I feel like comfortable running that many characters in Rage Cursed. The Sanguinar and Lamartez and Dante, aggressive. And I now imagine how you're facing 4 Catan at once. Yeah, I mean, I don't think my list can really deal with that, dude. I don't think there's many lists that can deal with that. I don't know if you've been keeping an eye on stat check. But, you know, that Necron detachment win rate is kind of... Let's see what it was at. It's kind of obnoxious, that win rate on that detachment. Pathian of Woe. It's a 67% win rate detachment. 27% of players using that detachment, that's a bonkers number, are starting events 4 and 0. 27% of players. So 1 in 4. You know, and that's all Necrons that are playing that detachment. That's just insanity. Necrons have some good detachments right now. They've got other ones that are still sitting at like 61%, 61%, 58%. Yeah, okay. So, sorry. Lots of characters in this list. Intercessors for sticky objectives. Jump Intercessors. I don't really like Jump Intercessors in Rage Cursed Onslaught. I just don't think they're a good unit. They're like Strength 4. I guess if you're using them to do some scoring, fine. But they don't do much else. They definitely don't hit hard enough. I think you're much better having those 3-man units of Sanguinary Guard if you can fit them in. We then have 20 Death Company. Great. I guess they're all led. Yeah. So it'll be Chaplain, Lamartez. We then have the Outriders. We have the 3-mans of Sanguinary Guard, one of which will be led by the Fight First Captain. Again, great. Scouts, cool. We've got Dante with the 10 Infernal Pistols. Oh, yeah, I mean, that's good. I've done a video on that before. You could rapid ingress Dante with the Infernal Pistols. I've not actually run this myself, but I think the cool thing about this is that you can buff those Vanguard veterans to a silly number of attacks with Dante as well, because Dante gets potentially 10 attacks in this detachment if he's battle shocked. These guys get up to 6 attacks, so it could be 60 attacks. They'd have lethal hits as well, and they can go to AP2. So you just have 60 attacks. Lethals, AP2, be good, really good for killing Catan actually, because they don't give a shit about -1 damage, and you can put Oath of Moment on them, so you hit on 2s, and you can reroll everything. You can just fish for 6s. Maybe Dante and the 10 Vanguard veterans, and obviously you get to shoot 10 Infernal Pistols before you start. So if a few of those Infernal Pistols can sneak through. I mean, if you've got 10 Infernal Pistols hitting on 2s, what's that? 8.3 successful hits. You wound on 5s. Okay. Maybe you sneak 1 Infernal Pistol through, but I mean, that could be 5 damage. They feel no pain, 1 or 2 of them away. So you throw your grenade before you start. You sneak an Infernal Pistol through, or maybe 2. Or you get really lucky and Dante's pistol goes through. I literally played the whole edition. Or I literally played Dante to a few tournaments, forgetting that his pistol was actually D6 damage, and just every time I did it, I just rolled D3. because his pistol's D6. Yes, I am an idiot. And yeah, they've just got lots of and then 60 damage 1 AP2 lethal hits. So if you've got 60 dice, right, you're just going to roll all 60. 10 of them are going to be 6s, so that's 10 lethal hits. And then you just pick up every single dice again, all 50, and throw them all again. So a 6 of 50 is like 8? 8 and a bit. So you get 18 lethal hits. And then the other like 30 odd dice are wounding on 5. So they have to take like 30 saves at AP2. So they fail half of them, so it's 15 damage. Yeah, do you know what? Dante plus the Vanguard veterans are probably your best way of taking out Catan in one turn. Because you jump in close, you throw grenades, you shoot the 10 infernal pistols, plus Dante's pistol, and then you just charge with crap loads of lethal hits. You need to use Oath of Moment, obviously, but that's fine, right? So yeah, no, this is an interesting list. This is all melee. I maybe feel like you've got one too many character in here. Like, I don't know if I think that you need the Sanguinar in Angelic Inheritors, and I don't know if I like the Assault Intercessors either. But in general, I think the Dante idea with the 10 Infernal Pistols is pretty cool. Maybe I need to try that. Because, I mean, technically they should kill the Catan before it ever swings at you. So they're still alive to go deal with another Catan. And they move pretty fast as well, right? I mean, you would have to try and place them on the edge of the board so you kill, like, an isolated Catan and then you don't get countered on. But, I mean, that's possible. It's possible, right? I'm glad... Alright, thank you, Truth, for submitting this. Cool idea. The Deceiver will generate 2 CP. Remember, GW did an emergency balance patch for Codex Death Guard and Knights. I guess they forgot this time. They might still... I feel like they... I feel like this came up before with Eldar, right? Like, I feel like Eldar had the same nonsense where they were like 60-70% win rate, and they were left for way too long. So, you know, if people ask, what's the one thing that we want for the new edition? Well, I think the one thing that we want is, like, better cadence of fixing broken lists like this, where certain armies are just scoring too damn easily, or, you know, win rates are out of control. Okay, we're moving on to Rubes the Man. He's playing a list called Liberated from Assault Group. I don't know if this means it's a Liberated or Assault Group list, but I'm guessing it isn't. So, yeah, it probably isn't because he's got Death Company Dreadnought. So this is probably Rage Cursed as well. I lied to you. It's just going to be... it's just going to be all Rage Curse lists again. We did have one Angelic Inheritor, so we did have one that was different. We've got Mephiston, we've got Lamartas, we've got Captain with Sustain 2, we've got a Chaplain with Fight First, we have another Chaplain, we have 10 Jump Intercessors, 2 5s, we have the 10 Death Company and the 2 5s, we have the 6 Sanguinary Guard, we have the Ball Predator, we have a Ballistus Dreadnought, we talked about that earlier in the stream, we have a Death Company Dreadnought, a Gladiator Lancer, and I love your videos. You've made me a much better Blood Angels player. Okay, well, we'll try and make you an even better player, and I think the way that we should probably do that is replace some of these Jump Intercessors, I think, with more small units of Sanguinary Guard. I think the only way we're going to be able to do that is you're going to have to sacrifice Mephiston. He needs to change to the Combi Weapon Lieutenant. If you do that, you get 45 points back. You drop both these guys... you get 180 points back. Oh, this is not going to be enough, is it? 180 plus 45. No, because Sanguinary Guard 3-man is 125. Damn it. But I think you probably want to be trying to figure out how to get rid of the Jump Assault Intercessors. I don't think they're very good. Yeah, I had 2 units of them in my tournament list for the GT I was just at. And I just wanted rid of them as soon as the tournament was over. I was like, I just want small 3-man units of Sanguinary Guard with spears. Because I think there's like 2 things there. The Sanguinary Guard with spears, they've got better OC, they've got better survivability, They do way more damage, and there's just jump intercessors with strength 4 are just super underwhelming. And also the Sangre Guard just don't seem to have to worry about battle shock really all that much, because you only do battle shock if you only have one guy left, and if you only got one guy left, you're usually already, like, you don't often get in a situation where there's one left. You're either alive or you're dead, right? Damien says, happy Super Bowl Sunday. The Giants will be playing in it next year. All right, Damien, we'll hold you to that. Yeah. So I the other thing you possibly could do, I guess, is drop Sustained on your captain. Like, I get Sustained 2 can be useful, but I think this list is much better if it's 2 3-man units of Sangre Guard over the 2-5 jump intercessors. And if we have to drop an enhancement and Mephiston to get there, I think I would do that. How many points is Angel's Fang again? If it's 25, yeah, okay, yeah, it's 25. I would drop that then. I would drop Mephiston. I would drop Angel's Fang. I would drop the 2 units of jump intercessors, replace them with 2 3-man Sangre Guards. I think that is just much, much better, because those Sangre Guards can really punch up, right? Like, the enemy have a toughness 10 tank, right? Your jump intercessors literally can't do dick against that. All they can do is their impact mortals. So they do like a couple of impact mortals, like 3, if you're lucky. And then maybe like 1 or 2 more saves. So the absolute maximum damage the absolute maximum damage like jump intercessors could do to a toughness 10 thing is like 5 damage, right? Whereas like the Sangre Guard, you're going to get 15 attacks, which you could even buff to 18 attacks if you go limb for limb. So let's just say you went limb for limb. You've got 18 attacks. You hit on 2s. You could buff that with your Oath of the Moment, but even if you don't buff it with Oath of the Moment, you have 15 hits. You wound on 4s, rerolling 1s. That's a 58% chance. So you get 8 points. They have to take 8.7 saves. You can be AP2 or you can be AP3. You know, even if they're able to save on a 4-up invuln, you can still do 8.7 damage, right? Because they would save on a 4-up invuln, and then your 2 damage a swing, which comes right back to 8.7. So if they're saving on 5s, well, times it by 2 and then times it by 0.66. If they're saving on 5s, that Sangre Guard are doing 11.5 damage. It's just, yes, they're 35 points more than the jump intercessors, but they just offer so much more. And even if they go battle shock to get those extra attacks and extra AP, they still have OC as well, because they have a banner and they have a 4-up invuln and they're -1 to hit in combat. They're just so much better. Is the Sangre Guard still worth the extra points over the jump intercessors and another detachment like Gladius? In Gladius, I'd say so. In Liberator Assault Group, I think jump intercessors are really good because strength 6 is meaningful, right? Like most of the, like if you think of your opponent's skirmish units, they're going to be like toughness 2, 3, 4, or 5 typically. Right? You fight Eldar, they're all going to be T3. You fight Marines, they're going to be T4. You fight, I don't know, Orcs, they're probably going to be T5, right? So jump intercessors in Liberator Assault Group at strength 6 are really meaningful, because it's like, well, we wound Eldar on 2s now, we wound Marines and Orcs on 3s. So you get extra attacks in Liberator Assault Group, and you also have pretty good wound rolls. They're great. But this detachment doesn't do that, right? Like, you don't improve your wound rolls against Eldar, you don't improve your wound rolls against Marines, you don't improve your wound rolls against Orcs. In fact, you only wound Orcs on 5s with the jump intercessors. Whereas, like, the Sangre Guard, well, they'll just wound Orcs on 2s, rerolling 1s. So they wound Orcs pretty much. If you wound on 2s, rerolling 1s, that's a 97% chance. So it's just pretty much you just wound all the time. And we've just established they can have 18 attacks at AP3 with flat 2 damage, and they just wound all the time, right? So I think in this detachment, the Assault Intercessors with jump packs are not worth taking. I think someone said that your captain had a bad weapon option. He's got a chainsword and heavy bolt pistol. You should swap this out. You probably just want the power fist on a captain. I assume it's just a mistake when you're setting up the list. And then, I mean, you didn't put in the war gear for the Death Company, but I assume you put in the right war gear of like 3 power fists and an eviscerator or 2 eviscerators per 10. And I think everything else is kind of okay. But yeah, I mean, I've said it a few times in this video, the core of Rage Cursed really is 20 Death Company and then 9 Sangry Guard. So you're light on the Sangry Guard. The Ball Predator, the Death Company Dreadnought, I like the fact you've got some anti-tank in there as well. I think it's interesting. But I think as much as Mephiston is cool, and I mean, I played him at a tournament, and you can have some games where he just lives and he just kills. I don't know if I feel he's worth 120 points. Like, if something's got to go, I feel like it's got to be Mephiston. Because he is also hella unreliable, right? Like, I played him to a whole tournament. One game, he was in the opponent's deployment zone, killing. They couldn't kill him. He's lone operative, da-da-da-da. Another game, they just walk up and they just shoot him and he's just dead. And when he's 120 points and he's just instantly dead, like, he's just, like, everything about him is swingy, right? Like, he doesn't have a good invuln save. He doesn't have a reliable strength on his ranged weaponry. He doesn't have reliable damage on his sword, right? Like, he's a cool character. If you really love him, play him. Like, I love him, sort of, because I've had the model for like 20 years. But, like, he isn't... I've played Mephiston twice at tournaments in the last 5 years or so. And I think both times people have been like, John, why are you playing Mephiston? He's too unreliable. And probably after both tournaments, I felt like Mephiston is too unreliable. Like, he's a fun character. He's strong in the lore. He's just not a reliable tournament pick. And I feel like I definitely didn't have him in my tournament list when I won my tournament, right? Like, it's just... Take him if you like him. But realistically, you probably want to drop him if you're trying to be super competitive. Daniel Gallagher says, I'm moving from Deathwatch to Blood Angels for a bit. Literally all lists I see are Lag or Rage Cursed Onslaught. Any chance you can tow or talk about a list with Angelic Inheritors? I mean, I can talk about it. We did actually look at an Angelic Inheritors list in this video. But what you want to do is, like, head over to this website, right? Which is, like, I'll just give you it here, Daniel. This is like all my previous videos, right? For this entire edition. So I think if you would just click search and type Angelic Inheritors, you'll probably be able to find. I mean, I can put that, like, just search Angelic Inheritors, right? Like, I did a video on, like, the auto includes for an Angelic Inheritors army. I did my list building Angelic Inheritors. I talk about Plasma Inceptors. I talk about Angelic Inheritors lists without Vindicators winning tournaments. I also did somewhere, this one, Angelic Inheritors surprise everyone at Las Vegas Open 2025. So that was like the list that did the best, third place at Las Vegas Open. And I feel like I played Angelic Inheritors at a tournament, but I don't know where that video is. But yeah, in general, like, if there's something that you want to see, I've probably done it. So yeah, I probably, do you know what, 10 months ago, that would have probably been right around the time I went to the tournament, because it was like May last year. So this is probably the units that were good in Angelic Inheritors haven't really changed. The only thing that's maybe, like, the detachment maybe even got stronger because Sangry Guard got their weapon skill improved, and they got their blades improved as well to have lance, right? Yeah, no problem, dude. If you've ever got a question about a video, like, I always say to people, like, I don't know how many people realize how easy it is to search back on the channel, but, like, I I feel like I genuinely make videos about every single possible Blood Angels thing. And because we're so close to the end of the edition, the chance of me having not made that video is slim to none, probably. But then sometimes it's like, you know, on YouTube you might title a video slightly different to what people are searching. The algorithm, the algorithm rewards intrigue or something. I don't know. All right, we're looking at the last list for tonight. It's by Shadow Knight 2. I thought there was another 2 there. No, just Shadow Knight 22. He's doing some testing and he's close to a final product. He went against World Eaters, Grey Knights, and he got solid wins in both. This list is the first with the Dreadnought. It took out a Land Raider with 13 wounds but dropped all of its saves, so it's not reliable against Toughness 12 without +1 strength. The plan for the Dreadnought doesn't work. If the plan for the Dreadnought doesn't work, we'll swap him out for Plasma and Scepters. Okay. Except Bolt. Yes, I haven't made a video on Bolt Death Company Marines. I mean, we could make that the video for April the 1st. Is April the 1st a Friday? Oh, I don't... No, Mac. I know you want that video. I feel like it's... I feel like it's a waste of time, man. Don't make me do it. You know as well as I do that they stink. Like, they stink. I don't even understand how they're more points than regular intercessors when regular intercessors have 2 OC on every model and sticky objectives. You know, like, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, free Overwatch with bolt rifles, like, hold me back. Like, alright. Captain with the jump pack, Chaplain in Terminator armor, Chaplain with the jump pack, Mephiston and Lamartes. We've got the double assault intercessors. Like, we just talked about those for a long time in the last list. They're fine. They're just not that good in this detachment. We have a Ball Predator. We have a Death Company Dreadnought. We have 15 Death Company. I think that's too little for Rage Cursed. I think you need 20. I think you should have 20. If you don't have 20 Death Company in Rage Cursed, I think you should be rethinking what you're doing. I took 10 to the tournament that I went 3 and 2 at, and I really felt like I did not have enough. I really think I should have had 20. I have a unit of infiltrators for reserve. Sorry, not for reserve, for screening. A unit of 1 unit of Sanguinary Guard. Again, I don't think that's enough. 3 Sanguinary Guard in this attack. Like, literally the best 2 units in this detachment are Death Company and Sanguinary Guard. So if you're not maximizing those, but you should be using them definitely more than 1 and 2, right? Like, it should be 2 and 2, or like my list is 3 and 3, right? Like, this is the best. These are the best 2 units in this detachment, so you should use them as best as possible. You got the Terminators. You got the 10 Vanguard Veterans with Infernal Pistols. I guess that is the Dante thing we talked about earlier. But it's not Dante. Okay, interesting. I think if you're going to do the 10 Vanguard Veterans, you probably want Dante, because you want the lethal hits. Sorry, you want the +1 to hit, so you can re-roll everything for more lethal hits. Then you probably want the +1 to advance and charge as well, I imagine. You probably want all his attacks. So this is an interesting list. It's won a couple of games, though. So... You mentioned a Dreadnought. There is no Dreadnought. This list was the first with the Dreadnought. There is no Dreadnought. Oh, there is a Dreadnought. Okay, sorry. 1 Ball, 1 Dreadnought, 15 Death Company, Infiltrators, Sanguinary Guard, Scouts, Terminators. I mean, I guess the Terminators are a bit of a niche pick. Not too many people take Terminators, right? Would you make the Death Company jump pack as 2 10s or 1 10 and 2 5s? I'm going to do 1 10 and 2 5s because I didn't like 2 10s. I still think you want 20 Death Company minimum, maybe even 25. But the problem with problem with 10 Death Company without Lamartes is they don't really have that much survivability, right? So you jump the 10 in for the pre-game mover to kill something, but if the enemy's got good shooting, they can easily pick up all 10. I'd love to see Blood Angels content about the Librarius detachment, since no one is running it. It could throw opponents off. I don't know if there's enough strength in the Librarius detachment, is there? I'd have to have another look at it. I don't even know if anyone's playing it because the win. I mean, if you look at the win rates, it probably doesn't even rank. Falls, right? I mean, there's a lot of detachments that just don't have win. Like, where's Space Marines? I know no one was playing it in Blood Angels. Librarius. Yeah, like literally no one's playing it, dude. Usually when no one's playing it, it's kind of a telling sign for like it's just not a good detachment. That's rough. That Forge Father detachment's doing alright. 59% win rate. And it's actually got some players playing it. Gladius still has a good win rate. 56% players playing it. 40k Golden Guardian. Evening all, just in the middle of building Death Company Dreadnought. Can't wait to test them on the weekend. Thanks for the great content. Thanks for tuning in, dude. How about 10 Death Company plus a Chaplain in a Land Raider? I mean, the Land Raider's so expensive, dude. And you're spending all those points on the Land Raider to make a pretty average / crap unit not even that very good. Yeah, I mean, I think in this list, I'd probably be saying you need to get rid of some of these jump intercessors. Might be even saying the same thing about Mephiston. I was earlier saying like Mephiston could just be better replaced with a combi weapon lieutenant. But like you've got 2 units of jump intercessors and 2 units of scouts. I feel like if it was me personally, I would be replacing the 2 units of jump intercessors and the scouts. That's precisely 250 points, which is exactly what you need for 2 more 3-man units of Sangre Guard with spears. I think that's the quickest and easiest upgrade for this list. And then you suddenly have your 9 Sangre Guard. All you've lost is a unit of scouts, and your 2 sort of skirmish units, the jump intercessors, have been replaced with better skirmish units. Just like I said, the Sangre Guard can do a lot more work now than those jump intercessors, or at least in this detachment. If you take spears, you hit on 2s, you've got +1 to wound, you've got reroll 1s to wound, you still have OC if you use limb for limb. Like, there's just a lot you can do with those 3-man units of Sangre Guard that I feel like you can't do with the jump intercessors. So maybe in this case you get to keep Mephiston, you get to keep your quirky Terminators because that's fine, because they fit. Little bit. I mean, I suppose the other option you could say is like maybe like we talked about Mephiston just not being a great tournament pick earlier. Like maybe Mephiston comes out and a combi weapon lieutenant goes in, and we take the captain and we upgrade the captain to Dante, and then that makes the Vanguard veteran squad just much better, probably because they can now completely fish for lethals. Their Infernal Pistols hit on 2s. They got Dante with his 10 attacks as well, which helps. So they just have a lot of damage output potential, possibly more than they have with the captain. And you lose the unreliable Mephiston, and you get like a somewhat reliable combi weapon lieutenant back. So I think that's about it. I think that's it for this week. Shadow Knight, thank you for submitting the list.
This target will test your mettle, Judefoot. Are you prepared?
I think that's us. Hey Commander, in my recent games I played Death Company Dreadnought and it feels like he is here to hunt and chase. Yeah, I mean, I think the interview I did with the guy that went like 6-0 at the Nottingham GT, he said that he just felt the Death Company Dreadnought was just to be here, let him be happy, let him go be a Dreadnought, let him go do some killing. Something like that. So yeah, if you want to get your list on the show in a future week, it's pretty simple. When the stream ends, put it into the comments. If you did enjoy the show at any point, if you would leave a like, or if you'd leave a like on any of my videos that you enjoy, I appreciate that. I do have a button that like pops up like this video. I just never press it because I'm an idiot. And if you want to subscribe, please do consider doing that as well. I'll be back at some point this week with more content. You know it. I'm making that. I'm working on that. I mean, that's the video. Like I said, I made the thumbnail already. So we're going to do Lamartez plus Lamartez or Astrath leading 10 Death Company in Rage Cursed, We're going to put that into Catan. We're going to math it all out. We're going to give you the numbers. That's going to be coming this week. What is the best choice? Is Astaroth actually viable in this detachment? Because no one's really running him, right? Like, he wasn't in any of tonight's lists. Is there a reason for that? Or is his devastating wounds actually going to be useful? So, on Friday, you'll know. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Really nice to see you all. Have a great evening. By the blood, arm made strong. Peace.